Right, very good morning. So, here's the thing, right? Ideas that I have, I write on A4 pads, and I'll let you know one thing, right? Benwell. Most of you may know where Benwell is. And Benwell's got north part and it has the south part. Now I'm south, so I'm like on the steeper side of Benwell. And most of you who are watching this will know that the average house in the old days, back in the 60s, in the 70s, well, it was terraced. And because it was terraced, all roads led to Scotchy Road, which is quite a famous road. Scotchy Road is even mentioned in the Blaydon races. Now, back in the day, right, when I was dead young, we didn't live in anything other than a terraced house. And back in the day, all those years ago, we had one of them iron baths, and to be honest, they weren't very comfortable. We had to fill them up, and Mum would have to test the water before putting them in. These days, we've got modern baths. But here's the thing. Back in the day, I moved from there to another place, and this one was a brand new house, just being built. And it was beside Critters Park Shops. Basically, you went down our street, you turned a corner, and straight in front of you was the Critters Park shopping complex. Big, tall, massive block of flats above it, and I wouldn't say they were good times, because they weren't. Didn't live there long because of stepdad, an absolute a-hole. Now, from there, I bounced around many places, never stopping in one place too long. Why? My mum was running because stepdad was an a-hole. Now, here's the thing. I've grown up since, and I've faced many, many challenges. Really, truly. In Newcastle, done many, many jobs. I have had time on the old dual. Yeah, I have. So has everybody else. Don't make me anything special, because I'm not. Just a kid from Benwell. So, as I got older, I thought about what I wanted to do. And guess what? I wear glasses. So what I wanted to do, I couldn't. You can't fly a plane when you're wearing glasses. So I couldn't do that. So I chose other things to do. Now, one of the biggest challenges I ever faced was in Newcastle. I'd gone to a depot to try and become a worker at that depot. And I'll tell you this much, and this is true. I went down to a place called Newburn. And Newburn has got a rather large industrial estate. And I remember my very first time, the instructor drove over there and he pulled up at a bus stop and he said, "Right, son, get yourself in the hot seat." And I didn't know what the hell he meant, the hot seat. I found out what the hot seat was because I went round and round and round, turning this way, turning that way, and I went over 8 curbs. And he said to us, as we came back around to where we'd started, he went, "Do me a favour, son, pull in." So I did. And he turned round and he says, "Okay, I'll take over." Now this guy was called Alan. And Alan smoked like a bloody trooper. And like I say, I jumped out of the hot seat. He got into it. We drove back across that white bridge. And here's the thing. Took me back into the depot. And I had to sit there for half an hour while he wrote out a report. They didn't use computers in them days. You didn't like type it out on a keyboard and print it out, handwritten. So here's the thing. He turned around and he went, in his report, "This guy is not capable of doing the job. Sorry to say." And the assistant ops manager read the report out to us, and he turned round and he leaned forward as I got up and he shook my hand and he says, "I'm very sorry on this occasion. You're not good enough." And I went, "I'll see you in 3 months." And in that 3 months, I looked at stuff I'd have to do. You see, when you're driving a coach, you've got to have spatial awareness. It's like driving any large vehicle. Driving a car, dead easy. Anybody can do it. Driving a bus, well, that's a different kettle of fish. And I went back. I went out with a different guy. And he ain't no longer here. Gone. Next man. And as I went back across that same bridge, pulled into that same bus stop, he says, "Right, jump in the hot seat." So I did. We went round and round, just like the first time. This time, no curbs. Not one. And as I came back round to the other side of the road where we'd started, He turned round and he said, keep going. So I drove across that white bridge. And he said, right, turn right. So I did. Carried up to the roundabout where the famous bridge is. The green one. The little bridge from the Tyne Bridge. Yeah. And followed the road round. And he went, watch your corners. I did. Went up past the little pub in Scotchy. Kept going. I was like, okay. And then I pulled into the depot. And like I say, he turned round and said to us, just sit there in that seat. So I did. This time, I wasn't sitting there half an hour. 10, 15 minutes, maybe. Went in to see John. And he turned round and he says to us, so he sat there reading this report. And he turned round and he goes, can you come in on Monday morning? Aye, what time? He says 8 o'clock. Aye. And that was the start of a journey to become a bus driver. And we went from the depot, we went to Sunderland via another place. And I always remember in Sunderland, we sat in this room. There was a bloody huge desk. I mean, golden, but it was massive. We all sat there and we did tests, and you know, back in them days, see this, it was jet black. I'll tell you one thing, right? To drive a vehicle as big as that from one side of the city across to the other, many things happen. Some of those things make you jump. Some of those things make you feel like you just messed yourself, because people do crazy things. But you know what? Lots of people turned around and said to us, I'll give you 6 months. And those people who said that, 6 years later, turned around and said, we honestly didn't think you could do it. We didn't think you were cut out to do it. Now I did 11 years. So the moral of the story is this. Life is challenging. Oh yes, it is. See, one of the things is this, right? 2 key skills. Crap at. Absolutely crap. And those skills, writing, pardon me, English, writing, absolutely crap. Dyslexic. Second, arithmetic, not maths. Arithmetic is like the lowest form of maths. And as I say, crap. But I never gave up. Even though the company gave up on me, I never gave up. My task each day was to get that bus from A to B and then get it back in to the depot. And that's what I did. I did that for 11 years until I was out on a bus and the bus hadn't long come to the depot. I had contact lenses in and my contact lenses were sticky. I was like, trying to do this, and occasionally, because I was wearing my sunglasses, occasionally I'd sit at the traffic lights, pull my glasses down, because I was wearing polarised glasses at the time, and I'd do that, and I'd just squeeze gently each eye, because I had contact lenses in. The demisters on the vehicle were drying out my eyes. Now when you're driving a bloody big vehicle like a bus, you're constantly on your mirrors all the time. You have to be, because you're driving such a bloody great big vehicle. Concentration. People just think a bus driver just sits on his arse. It is true, a bus driver does sit on his arse, but here, you're like that. You're constantly like that. And one thing, do you know what arthritis is? Do you know? It means sometimes, some days, you can do that, and boy does it hurt like shit. It does. I found that out when I lived in Blaydon. I'd moved out of a crap house to somewhere better, modern. But I was struggling. Why? Well, Newcastle is different to here. Newcastle, sometimes it can be very, very bloody cold. And sometimes in Newcastle, due to vibration weight finger, that right there, that's all it affects. Just that, nothing else. They go white as a sheet of bloody paper. And when they go white, you haven't got touch. So what I would do is what the doctor said to us. 2 ways you can get rid of that is this, under your armpits, or down here. So what I would do is this. I'd sit there like that, steering wheel in front of us, and I'd say, well, just wait in a moment. Sometimes you would get passengers who would come down at the front. Sometimes, yes. And sometimes I would turn my head and I'd say to them, I'm just waiting for my fingers to come back to normal operating temperature. Now, one of the things is this. Up in Newcastle, when it's a really bad day, icy cold, and it's snowing. Did you know a bus can slide? it's lucky in some respects that when you're going downhill, it's lucky. The curb, you bounce off it. There is some cases where I've had that myself. Kenton Bar has a big roundabout and a big hill. And I've gone down that hill and thought very slowly as I've gone down that hill, I've thought to myself, I hope and I pray nobody, and then ding, the bell goes off. I was like, oh crap. But in every single occasion where that happened, here's the thing. I slowed the speed down. And yes, going down that towards that bus stop where the bridge is, bounce, bounce, bounce. But never once, never did I ever hit that bus stop. I stopped safely, opened my doors, and every bloody person that got off that bus, thank you, driver. Sometimes I was late. Yeah. Stuck in traffic. Yeah. But always got there. So, life does have challenges. I now have white hair because of 11 years of driving. And you know what? There's a term, and it's not a nice term, throwing you under the bus. Well, that's what they did to me. That's why, when it happened to me, because my eyes were drying out, and I ripped this. When I ripped that, I turned the air blue. I swore more times than I've ever sworn in my life. When I got home, I kept swearing again, because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. Here's the best bit. Mike, my physiotherapist, turned round and said to us, keyhole surgery will fix you. Little incision here and a little incision here. And they go in and they clean up the area. Now, I don't mind that. Really, I don't mind that at all. Why? This is why. Now, these aren't what I'm going to show you. These aren't worth thousands of pounds. Nope. They're not even all the same brand. That's the truth. And that's the honesty. Now, many will turn around and say, that's CGI. Of course it's CGI. I haven't played since 2017. It's a long time. So there you go. Life does have challenges. Yes, it does. It's what we do to get round those challenges. That what I've just showed you in the bedroom there cost me £30. And what is in that bag is different assortments of golf clubs, drivers, and balls. Some are orange, some are lime green. And every single time I went onto a golf course, please don't use one of those. And I went, who's playing golf? You or me? See, the reason why I was using the orange and the lime green balls, I wanted to see where my shot had gone, because sometimes you can slice. Sometimes you just don't find your ball at all. But a lot of the people I used to go out play golf with at work, one of them did a cardinal sin. And for that cardinal sin, a person is the same as my dear mother. Gone. They don't exist. So, I still like golf, still watch it on TV. I just can't play bloody golf. And it was never about, when I did golf, it was never about getting birdies, eagles, hole-in-one. No. To me, it was just getting round the bloody golf course in the first place. But that's all gone. Tell you what, I've been talking for a while. Thank you very much for being right at the end of the video. And to all of you out there who have got to this point, just remember this. There are many channels who cover our club, Newcastle United. I just wanted to do my YouTube channel different. And the music and everything else which is contained in my YouTube channel, that belongs to me. Thanks for watching.